Tonight on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, she thought it was just a game, but this game turned deadly. Tawny Kitaen in Witchboard.
Everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror! Unchained from the content Nazis! Yes! Tonight, episode number 14, we are chugging along this train of terror, coming off of last night's standard yellow, and it's very standard, the case of the Bloody Iris. I had to say Irish there for a second. Aye. Anyways, so tonight I'm going to review a movie about spirits. About a particularly nasty one. Yes, I'm going to review the movie Ouija! No, I'm going to review the movie that came way before that one, Witchboard. So what is Witchboard about? Well, at a party hosted by this guy and his lovely fiancée, a rival who blames the guy for stealing her away from him, is acting kind of an ass, decides to break out his Ouija board and have a little communication with the spirits. So he makes contact with this 10-year-old boy who drowned. And of course the woman is all enthralled and excited about this while the boyfriend is all just like, this is a bunch of bullshit, whatever. Anyways, apparently it pisses off the spirit enough to bust the tire of the guy who owns the Ouija board. Wouldn't you have done something to mess up the other guy? But whatever. Anyways, so that is an unceremonious end to the party, and he accidentally leaves his Ouija board. And so the woman has this idea. You know what? It was so much fun talking to that dead kid. I want to do it some more, so I'm going to do it by myself. And of course, that is like one of the rules you don't break when you're doing a Ouija board. You know, you don't go into a graveyard, and you definitely don't do it by yourself. And so she starts communicating with this spirit, and soon after, weird things start happening, and she becomes more and more obsessed with the board, and to a point where it's becoming a problem. And so, of course, the owner of the Ouija board is wondering why he's not getting it back, and he kind of comes to blows, well, not necessarily blows, but they butt heads with the boyfriend. The boyfriend just thinks that she's got pregnancy situations, and that's what's causing all the issues. But he's like, no, these are classic signs of obsession, which will turn into possession. There's a way that the spirit will break her down so that he can just take control. So the whole thing is, you know, are these two guys going to be able to put away their differences and team up to try to find a way to break the hold that this spirit board, this Witchboard has upon the lovely lady. So let's get into those scores, shall we? Violence and gore, I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5. There are some really nice kills in there. I mean, there's a couple that are pretty brutal. We get a hatchet in the face. I mean, that alone is pretty fun. But so some good ones going on there. 2.5 out of 5. Shock value, really, no. The scares in this movie are non-existent. But I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5 because the end special effects are so bad that it's shocking. So 1 out of 5. Anyways, plot, 2 out of 5. Look, this movie is pretty straightforward. However, it's just not consistent. It feels very thin. Like there's like no meat on the bone of this film, and it feels like it's just missing a little bit of stuff. You kind of have the interesting opening, and then it just kind of doesn't do a good job of developing the characters. I mean, one of the major flaws of this is that I really didn't have any care for any of the characters at all. I mean, the two main male characters were assholes to each other, and so they were just kind of jerks and really didn't care about them. The main female, she just, her performance just wasn't hitting the mark, and the whole thing just, I don't know, it felt just thin, just very thin, and not a lot of substance to it. And unfortunately, because of that, it really didn't grab me and hold my attention. And one of the characters, oh, they had this medium, and God, she's fucking awful. And thank God she dies. She's probably got the most horrendous death, and I think that's karma for her being so horrible. Anyways, but 2 out of 5 for the plot. Acting, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5 because it's your typical straight-to-video type acting. I mean, it's nothing spectacular. I will say that particularly unimpressive was Tawny Kitaen playing the main... I can't even remember the name of her character. Honestly, she just was so... like, I don't know, she was just so stiff and, like, just unenjoyable. It's almost as if, you know, she's a model trying to be an actress. Yeah. Anyways, so that stood out as not the greatest. The other people do a fine job, but nothing spectacular. I mean, like the main guy, the boyfriend, he almost looks like he's squinting all the time, and I don't know. It's just whatever. 2.5 out of 5. Nudity, I am gonna give it a 1 out of 5. Look, toward the end, we do get a Tawny Kitaen shower scene with a little full frontal, so there it is. It's brief. It happens toward the end, which is kind of a bad place for it because by that time you're sort of in the throes of boredom. Because let's get to the enjoyment factor, which is 2.5 out of 5. Look, there are some good kills in this movie. And they can be pretty bloody, but there are so few of them, and they're so far between. And everything else just seems so standard and unremarkable and somewhat forgettable that it makes the entire experience just very ho-hum. It's very meh. It's a movie. It's a horror movie. Yeah, but it does nothing to like really stand out from the crowd of horror movies. I mean, it's okay. It's not great. It's not horrible. It's a 2.5 out of 5, which is my overall impression for this film. It is run-of-the-mill horror. 2.5 out of 5. Like I said, it does the job. It doesn't do it particularly well. It's definitely got a lot of weaknesses, though it does have some strengths. I mean, yes, it's got some pretty brutal kills and kind of creative and some nice effects on those. And yeah, we get some Tawny Kitaen action. I mean, it's probably written into her contract. But overall, kind of forgettable. Not really anything that's going to stand out except maybe one or two of the kills. Plot-wise, character-wise, you really did care about any of the people in this movie, and the final spirit villain is rather stupid and kind of ridiculous, and Tawny Kitaen dresses up like who it would have been, which makes no sense. Like, where'd you get the clothes anyways? It's your house. It was there was like a hidden compartment with the clothes. Was the thing, I don't know. It's just, yeah, a bit nonsensical there. So 2.5 out of 5, and that averages out to a 2 out of 5, which kind of fits. It just doesn't do enough. An interesting premise, and it executes it okay in spots and horribly in other spots. And it really, I mean, I think it needed a bit more touch. It just didn't have that charm that some of these horror movies have. It just felt very standard. So, sometimes you just can't get something awesome. Sometimes you just get something that's okay. And that's what this movie is. Okay. So, Witchboard. Tell me what you think. Have you seen it? Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me, do you think I'm right? Do you think it's just kind of okay? Or do you think I'm wrong and it's just absolute horseshit and I'm just being way too kind to it? Or do you think it's really great and I'm just stupid and an idiot for missing all the greatness in this movie? I don't know. But I doubt anyone's going to leave a comment. Anyways. But that is it. The end. Episode number 14 is over. And I will see you guys next time on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. And but until then, Internet, you guys stay scary. And remember, first of all, just don't fuck with, that stuff. Ouija boards. And just don't. Just don't. But especially, don't just do it by yourself. And be all, naive and, trusting of everything that's being said there. Because, evil spirits, they're definitely going to tell you the truth. Right? No. Anyways. See ya. Raw.